WorldCom Incorporated executives Scott D. Sullivan and David F. Myers were charged with 7 counts of securities fraud.
WorldCom, a telecom giant destroyed by a massive accounting fraud. At the heart of the fraud, controller David Myers.
Mr. Myers was a reluctant participant in the events that have led us here today.
What led Myers to participate in the fraud, and where were the auditors who might have prevented it?
Hi, I'm Allison. In this video, we will explain about WorldCom Cynthia Cooper's whistleblowing act using 3 different moral theories, which are Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development, Carol Gilligan's theory of moral development, and William Damon's theory of moral identity. The theory of moral development was introduced by Lawrence Kohlberg. In this theory, there are 6 stages of moral development. Kohlberg introduced these stages into 3 levels, each level containing 2 stages. The first 2 stages are level 1, the pre-conventional stages. In the first stage, the individual does the right thing to avoid being punished. They know that they have done something wrong when they are punished. In stage 2, the individual is aware that others have their own needs and desires like he does. He satisfies his own needs while doing the right thing. In the conventional stages, stage 3 is when the individual associates good as being seen as a good person by others, so good is subjected to the approval of others. In stage 4, the individual becomes aware of the wider rules of society such as law and order, and for society to function well, they obey the rules of law. In stage 5, which is the first in the post-conventional stages, the individual realizes that everyone has different moral codes and the law is not perfect, because the law only works in the interest of those it was designed to protect. The last stage is stage 6. In this stage, right and wrong is determined by universal ethical principles such as human rights, justice, and social welfare. The individual takes appropriate action for change to the extent they go against the law because it is the right thing to do. Cynthia Cooper has reached stage 6 because she took action to do the right thing. She worked up the courage to meet up with the audit committee of WorldCom's board of directors to tell them about the unethical conduct of Scott Sullivan and David Myers. Whistleblowing behavior was more common in those who had reached a higher level of moral judgment. Whistleblowers also tend to score higher on tests of moral reasoning. Those willing to blow the whistle are committed to certain values and they are capable of acting in that sense of obligation, even when faced with strong organizational and situational pressures. Cooper blew the whistle knowing that she might lose her job and after getting threatened by Sullivan. Even when it is at the expense of her job, which is the source of her income, her livelihood, she still took the initiative to blow the whistle because what is important to her is the values and ethics, like how she said, "The fear of losing my job was secondary to the obligation I felt." Her selfless behavior is linked to her higher cognitive moral development.
Hi, my name is Min Yuan. Carol Gilligan is an American feminist, activist, and psychologist who criticized Kohlberg's theory. She had argued that it was biased in favor of men. She thinks that women place a stronger emphasis on caring in moral decision-making. Gilligan's view on moral development had outlined that how a woman's morality is influenced by relationship and how they form the ethical foundation based on the consequences of their decisions. She had came up with moral stages of pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional, which follows Kohlberg's moral stages. Pre-conventional level mentioned that a person is more focused on survival and also his own self-interest. Conventional level shows that a person would prioritize the selflessness and care about the others. Post-conventional level emphasize on taking responsibility for the consequences of their choice and gaining control of their own lives. Post-conventional level consists of 2 types of thinking, which are care-based morality that is usually found in women and justice-based morality that is usually found in men. Care-based morality would emphasize more on the interconnected relationship between people, and justice-based morality would view the world as a composed of autonomous individuals. They would act justly in order to avoid any inequality that would happen.
Hi, my name is Chengdu. Now I'm going to discuss whether Cynthia Cooper's actions is similar or undermine Carol Gilligan's view. Cynthia Cooper is a professional who doesn't allow any defect in her life. In her point of view, the impartial principle is more important than morality. Although Scott Sullivan, who is the CFO in WorldCom, had threatened Cynthia Cooper by risking her job and career, but Cynthia still courageously met with the audit committee of WorldCom's board of directors to tell them the truth. And this has bring the consequences of WorldCom had lost 3 million and 17 WorldCom employees had lost their job, which also caused many WorldCom managers and employees are not willing to speak to her and caused her lose the relationship with them. Since Cynthia Cooper is a professional, she only consider impartial principle without consider about herself and others when making a judgment. Based on this situation, Cynthia Cooper's action has undermined Carol's views because she didn't apply moral of caring and being responsible to WorldCom employees by causing them lose their job and risking her job and career.
These leases are booked as an operating expense, an expense that would lessen the company's income every month. WorldCom's sleight of hand is making the company appear much healthier than it really is.
I'm Jinyin. I'll be talking about William Damon's theory of moral identity in relevance to Cynthia Cooper. According to Damon's theory, moral identity is an alternative to Kohlberg's theory of moral development, but the only difference is that morality does not become a dominant characteristic of self until middle adolescence, which is from the age of 15. This is because Damon considers morality and the self as two separate conceptual systems which are unrelated in the childhood. For example, children of the younger age tend to rely on their parents for rational decision making to be a good girl or good boy. So, Cynthia Cooper as an adult has already established a moral identity to be an honest and integrity person. And as an internal auditor of the company, she is responsible for investigating the ethical issues happening in the company.
When Cooper caught her boss red-handed, she was threatened by them. However, she steered away from her self-interest to obey the code of ethics of being an auditor. Her act of blowing the whistle proved that her moral obligation towards her job has overridden her self-interest in securing her job. The motivation of her to do what is morally right weighs more than securing her job, which also can prove her that she sees moral as part of her, and this matches the finding of Damon's. Bear in mind that whistleblowers have much more to lose than just their career, but also their reputation in the industry and their future. She knew what she was getting herself into when she said there's a price to be paid. Due to this, it can be said that Cooper's act is selfless, where she is willing to sacrifice herself to unearth the financial fraud, where even the top position of the company like CEO and CFO actually knows what is happening, but they remain silent. After all, Cooper's act proved that she developed morality as part of herself, which motivates her to do what is morally right. Her judgment as an honest and integrity person perceived that the right thing to do in that situation is to blow the whistle. The values and ethics that being developed and learned throughout her life made her the whistleblower. And morality has become a dominant characteristic of Cooper.
In conclusion, individuals like Cynthia Cooper with high moral reasoning levels are cognitively and behaviorally guided by their internal values and beliefs. They would go all out of their way to make things right even when the situation is not favorable to them. Due to this, Cynthia Cooper was able to bring justice and close the case. And that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.